Good morning. It is June the 9th, 2016, and the last day of this week's auction, and the 30-year is going to get off. Today probably is going to be a good auction. Now, the 10-year yesterday, 3-year not so good, 10-year was really, really great. That probably makes the 30-year somewhere in between. The average price for the other two auctions has been 130.30, 130.31. My guess is we will we'll close at that number or higher by the time the day is over. Resistance begins at 8. Have pretty good support down at the buck. And we'll play for a little weakness in the morning. Would like to buy it on the cheap, so 29 to 01 will be buy one. Might take 4s to get in. We'll just have to see how the trading develops. Then 21 to 25 for buy two. On the sell side, okay to sell, failure to take out and hold 131.08. Then 15 to 19 for sell two. If the bottom falls out on the E-mini day, remember George Soros is advertising that he's short the markets now. Think George is trying to get a little help from the press to help his positions out? Nah, that guy wouldn't do that, would he? Jobless claims, 270. The major piece of news for this morning. Wholesale trade, plus a tenth, which is kind of the default number. And natural gas, plus ADB. That's pretty standard for this time of year. Nobody will pay any attention. I doubt even if the natural gas traders will pay a lot of attention to it. So the news focus today will be jobless claims, the direction of the ES, and then the dynamics of the 30-year auction. And they can't move the paper in a down market. So I want to find a place to buy it. That's a trade, but I can sell failure to take out 8 to 12. Now, when we get nice runs in the overnight session, the highs or lows can be made in the overnight session. The dynamic behind that is that the markets are thin enough that under auction theory, the market will go so far that the buyers or sellers are no longer interested in the contract. And that could be the situation we find ourselves in this morning, that 8 might be the high. So 130.31 is the average auction price. That's where we'd like to establish and get a long off. We'll see if we can get it. Contrary to popular belief, the hedge in the 30-year is not in the 30-year, which is where you think it should be. That would make for a pretty simple hedge, wouldn't it? The hedge is actually in the 10-year, so that's a contract we have to pay attention to. The knob spread has expanded greatly. Overnight we went from a 35.29 to a 36.07, picked up a quarter of a point. And okay, resistance is at 24 to 28, number one. So 31 to 03 will be sell one. 7 to 11, sell 2. Now, I've got the sells a little close because, again, it's just the auction. And unless we have a major piece of news, and that could be the bottom falling out of the E-mini, it's hard to move the paper with the market going straight up. So they have to give us some back and forth. 8 to 12 will be S1. Would be this first support area, so 1 to 5 buy one, and then 25 to 29 buy two. So we're going to have our buys and sells pretty close today because of the 30-year auction. We'd open up the number 2 levels if it weren't for the 30-year auction today. Okay, gold's off a little bit, not a lot. It was off about $1 from yesterday's close when I looked this early this morning. So this high volume area that we talked about yesterday, our number 2 sell, has slowed the market down. We have the breakout from basically 50, which probably be retested before the market can make a run at new highs, unless the bottom falls out of the E-mini today, which, given what the Fed does, is doubtful. So this 55, 57 would be ideal. I think we're at support right now, so 61, 59 buy 1, 56, 54 buy 2. On the sell side, 65, 67 sell 1, 69, 71 sell 2. Not a lot of news to move things today. I think we can say in a fairly tight range. Famous last words, right? What's the tight range on gold and crude oil? Okay, the euro's hanging in pretty good. Dollar was up today. Is off after being down off of the remarks of Yellen. Most of that has probably worked its way through the market. And so dollar up, euro and yen down. Japan machine orders number was just really terrible again today. The political opposition is talking about no more zero interest rate policies for Japan. So there's a lot of turmoil going on. You can see we have this low right here. That low, the last rotate down on that explosion stopped at 1325. And so far that's holding the market. So 20 to 30 buy 1, 113 even, 1290 buy 2. I like the short side better, but we've had a pretty good move in the overnight session. 75, this area right up in here is where the market spilled. Last rotate up was in the 60 area. We're at 42, so 50 to 60 sell 1. 75 to 85 sell 2. And the market really needs to bust 1325 for the selling to continue. So we have a high of, so it looks like 141, 14, say 16. 100 ticks below that would be 13, 16. So maybe find some support down in the 20 area, 15 to 20. Might set up a nice little long. Crude oil's off. Hard to imagine. I mean, just off the fundamentals, you'd wonder how crude oil got so high. Part of it's a short squeeze. That happens to get everybody on the wrong side. The selling in crude oil is blamed on the strength of the dollar. Crude oil cargoes are when the dollar's down, the closing price of crude is usually higher. When the dollar is up, the closing price of crude oil can be lower. There's no guarantee when the dollar is strong that crude oil is going to close weaker, but that's the first place these people that write the articles go to get some filler for their preconceived conclusions. Always have to have a reason. So if we move 100 points, 51.71 takes us to 50.71. 150 points takes us down to 50 and a quarter. So this 25 to 50 area would be buy 1. Stops below 50. And I think that's where the battle's going to be fought. If we come down and get stops below 50 and it starts back up, the rally's not over. If 50 comes out and becomes resistance, and We've probably seen the top for this go around, and probably looking to retest the high 30s, low 40s before this is over, based on fundamentals. Okay, we're at 63, so 51, 51 and a quarter, sell 1. 51.50, 51.75, sell 2. And to the E-mini. Okay, the E-mini should sell today. It should come down. The issue is how far, and what is the 50 lot trader going to do? How will they support the market? And quite often when we come in the morning, if it's all red, that's where the buying power comes from. In pane number 3, we're trading September today at the opening bell. And I had about an 11-point discount from the June contract when I looked last night. So September goes front today, and got a little bit of volume, so 11 points. So we're at 2100. The June contract should be pretty close to 2110, 2111. Well, 2100 is a pretty round number. Now, if you take a dime away from that, makes 2090 a pretty big number for the September contract, a dime beneath that. So we have pretty good support here at 95. We are pointed lower. The selling started early. And again, it's just how far, how deep will the Fed let it go? And you can see we have volume down here in this 93, 95 area. So based on this contract, I think the 95, 97 area is where we're headed, basis September. So 95, 97, buy 1. And the idea behind this buy is just the Fed won't allow the bottom to fall out of the market. And we'll get a pretty fast feedback on that. We'll see who has more clout, George Soros or the Fed. Okay, the spill is from 2105, so 4 to 6, sell 1. 9 to 11, sell 2. We find ourselves in a situation where we've just got 6, 7, 8 points in that first hour of trading. Somebody's out there supporting the market. Now, what we need in the E-mini to make it attractive again and just a lot easier to trade is the market needs to be allowed to sell, and it's not happening. That's why volumes are off across the board. And who's out there buying? Large institutions are already long. They'll do some window dressing. So the sector of the market that needs to come back in and be a buyer would be the retail sector. And Bank of America said their smart money started buying. So in the historical scheme of things, that would sound like distribution to me. So anyway, we're going to have a good day, and we'll like the short side of the E-mini first to see if we can bust support, like the long side of treasuries to see if we can take it higher, like the short side in crude. Gold, kind of indifferent too. Definitely like the short side in the euro. I know I sound like a broken record there. It's going to take a bit to get everything up and posted. I am going to get busy with that. I will be back as soon as possible.